Wow, these new colors look amazing!
Boom!
Oh, Titania's calling! What's up, girlfriend?
Hi, Mirage. Have you noticed the new colors? They're amazing. I can make, like, everything pink and it's wonderful, but I put a little dash of black in there.
Lol, you're so edgy.
Girlfriend, I've got a 3-foot butterfly tongue in a 7-foot throat nodule. I'm, like, more than edgy.
Are you ladies out of the bathroom? I've got to change into my date outfit. I've got a meeting on set now. Oh yeah, looking beautiful, my friend. We're going to get all of the Orcancels tonight. Yeah.
Now, Mira, you're Daddy's little girl, so bring a big old cannon on your date, okay? And the guns, yep, look how nicely they match your outfit. Daddy, can I bring the big old sword? You bet you can, girl. Oh, and bring your little brother. No! Alright, Helios, now dress to match your sister and download that app from tenno.scoom.net. And I know you can't talk like the other boys, but just use the freeze ray to communicate. They'll get the point. Dad, I don't really see this working out. Oh, don't worry, dear. You just gotta put yourself out there. With superior firepower. Did I ever tell you about how I met your mother? Dad, I'm a robot. You literally built me in your garage. Ha ha! I am a sad, lonely man. Hello, lads and ladies, and welcome back to a very special episode of Warframe. We're just showing some interception footage today, nothing much, and check out the new Grenier mask that I got. I love it. It makes my operator look like a little goblin. I don't know, it just makes me happy. So Valentine's Day is upon us, or as I like to call it, National Singles Awareness Day. And so we've, on Warframe Market, I'm talking about the market in the game, there's a deal going on. There's some Valentine's Day heart-themed stuff going around, and for one that is 1 credit, you can purchase a new color palette, which has all kinds of reds and pinks and some light colors. And there's probably some much more accurate girl terms that would describe these shades, but basically you can color up your frame with some festive colors, and I highly recommend. This is one of 2 color palettes that I've unlocked. I spent some platinum on the ice palette earlier, and you can probably tell that that's the theme for many of my frames, those ocean blue greens, a teal you might say, blues and dark shades. I like those colors. But we get a new palette to work with for only 1 credit, so be sure and pick that up in the next few days, because that deal is going to be disappearing shortly, much like all of the Valentine's Day chocolate. So, why is today a special day? I'm not really the sentimental type, but Valentine's Day became something special for me, because I have the story of how I met my beautiful wife. And when I was growing up, my parents were like 2 people that just definitely could never be friends and probably should not have married each other, but hey, it worked out for me, at least at the beginning. So I watched their relationship just deteriorate in a very bad way, very harmful way. So my whole childhood, I was committed to not making that mistake, to find someone who was really compatible with me. And I even was convinced, because I have sort of I have this, I believe in absolutes in my mind. I'm an idealist, you might say, and I've always been convinced that there's that one specific person for me, and out of the billions of people in this world, there's one who's really my girl, who's meant to to complete me and to support me and compliment me, like all these backup dancers compliment Mirage. But even more so, a real necessary helper in desperate times, right? Am I rambling? Maybe a little bit. But today I'm going to tell you the story of how Tank Dad met Tank Mom. Tank Baby coming later in a future update. And so it was the night of Valentine's Day. I was working at a sports bar called Miller's on the Cove in a seaside town where a bunch of old salts would come and liquor up and eat some good food and watch some sports, and then tourists would come through and have a good time. And I loved working there. I was their first hire. I went on staff before they even opened the store, and I got to see them put the menu together, and it was a great experience. I really loved working there, loved the owners. Just neat people. It's not always easy to work in a kitchen, but again, I'm rambling. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. So, speaking of, I'd been working at Miller's for a while, and they had taken on another cook, but it turns out that this new cook had a meth problem. And if you're not familiar with meth, it's a drug, an illegal drug, that makes you completely unable to think clearly or to relax. So, in a kitchen situation, working with this guy was just really, really bad, because he started using more and more, and eventually he just disappeared. He didn't come to work, and he was just gone. And so it was just me and the owner running the kitchen, and Miller's is open pretty late because it's a food place as well as a bar. So, people would be there as late as like 3 a.m. I think the kitchen closed around midnight back then. But I ended up working like a split shift totaling about 14 hours or so away from home. So I'd wake up, bike to work, because I was in amazing shape back then. I used to bike everywhere. I used to practice martial arts for like 2-3 hours a day. Man, I was fit. Not so much anymore. Got to do a little more update on the old drivetrain for Tank Dad. But so I would work a 14-16 hour day, and then come home and just crash. And Valentine's Day was a busy day. We were running some specials at Miller's that were really popular, and we were just cranking out the orders, and I was having a blast. And this is sort of that singles awareness day, right? And I had always been convinced that God has this one specific woman for me, someone who's gonna really stand by me and support me in the ways that I need, and be that object of love and treasure that every woman deserves to be for their man. And at the same time, I felt like, I'm like 24-ish years old. I'm starting to become a real human being, an actual adult. I'm probably getting mature enough to really devote myself to a real relationship. By the way, I had never dated anyone. I was waiting for the one. So I worked this 14, maybe 16-hour day at Miller's. I was good and tired, and looking forward to the bike ride home and just crashing. So I was biking home and just looking forward to crashing into my bed, and then I get home and I'm exhausted, but I just feel good. I felt really fulfilled, like I was in the right place, and that's something that comes from the Lord. You're listening to a youth pastor here, after all. So I lay down in my bed and I just said, God, I want to see the girl I'm going to marry. And then I went to sleep, right, immediately. And that night, I dreamed, and it's one of those dreams, I don't know if you guys have ever had one of these, where it's like you're living, it's like you're experiencing your life ahead of time. It's so real, everything is just really real. Anyway, I was having one of those dreams, and I saw this woman, and it was clear that we were going out, we were in a relationship, and I recognized her. I'd never seen her before in my whole life, but I knew her face and her hair and her eyes and everything. I remembered who she was, even though I hadn't met her yet, right? I kept in mind who she was, because that next morning, as soon as I woke up, I got on my computer and I started a profile on Match.com, and guess who was my #1 match? Right? Tank Mom, before she was a mom. And before she even knew me, here she was on Match.com. And I sent her a message, and she found me on Facebook, and we found out that we actually almost know each other, because my brother's wife is friends with one of her best friends. So awesome. And we ended up setting up a date, and I was going to meet her at her church, and I went to her church, and I was getting interviewed by one of the guys there, one of the guys that's helpful. They're called deacons, by the way, and deacon, it just means basically somebody who waits tables, right? The guy who brings the food and the drink and the napkins and stuff and asks if everything's all right. That's what deacon actually means, right? So this guy who's a deacon at her church, he's a helpful guy, and he found out because I sat next to him, and he's asking me, "Oh, hi, what's up? What brings you here?" And being friendly, and I'm like, "I came here to date, I came here to meet a girl." And he's, "Oh yeah, who is it?" And so he started giving me the, "Who are you?" He was playing the dad role, and finding out who I am, and getting a good look at me the way that every dad should. And I'm talking with him, and I look out the window, and I heard this little go-kart pulling up to the curb on the other side of the road from the church. And I look, and this woman gets out, this young woman who is radiant in her beauty, and I'm running out of video. I gotta tell you the story. And time slowed down. Literally, it was that slow motion, just like from a movie, where I could watch the way her hair bounced with each step, and the way the sunlight was filtering through her beautiful red locks. And she was just walking to church, probably head filled with wondering about what the day would bring. And here I was, falling in love. And it was love at first sight. And it was right there that I recognized her from my dream, and I decided to marry her, and she knew nothing about that. So, as we watch the last little bit of this video, I want you guys to know on this Valentine's Day that real love exists, and that sappy, romantic idea, I guess, of there's that one woman for you out there, and ladies, there's that guy for you out there, and it's his job to find you. You just be beautiful, you just be blessed, you just be the lovely lady that you are, and he will find you. He'll be led to you. And fellas, you're a slob like me, I'm sure. You're a big old mess, and you're immature, and you don't have things figured out, but here I am, a youth pastor, telling you, trust in the Lord. And if you don't know God, at least be patient, because that woman is out there somewhere, and she's there for you. And suffering through singleness is worth it. And there's no need to be desperate, because you will find love, and love will find you, if you just have the patience to give it a chance. Anyway, guys, this has been kind of sappy. Hope you enjoyed this one. Catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.